Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. We're going to dig in this week and start to unpack what an argument really consists of. When we're reading an argument, when we're writing an argument, what do we need to make sure that we have a sound argument? So, all year we've been working with what we call rhetorical devices, and we have learned all about ethos, pathos, logos, and we're going to put all that together now as we head into this fourth quarter. You'll be reading this week an argument that was published originally in The Atlantic, which is a magazine and journal, and it was published actually, I believe, in 2010, and it is entitled Is Survival Selfish? The author of this piece is Lane Wallace, and she is actually an outdoor adventure writer. She's also a pilot, and most of her writing has to do with this sense of outdoor survival, adventure, put in perilous situations and how people overcome or don't sometimes. So that is her background a little bit. When you read this, you can go directly into your online textbook, which you have all the login information. It's on Clever, it's on my website, and it's on your, if you look at your module sheets in the past, I had it on there as well. I've also attached it in a PDF to this week's email. If you go ahead and just click on that, I did my best to include that for you. Your two assignments this week and your assessment will all be in Schoology again. And I'm hoping by now it seems that most of you have that figured out. So good job. Keep up the great work on that. Let's look at how we do that though. So I need to go into my Schoology account. When I log in, it'll have everything that's sitting over here for me. And you can see I'm a little overdue, right, on my assignments. So I have some things that are pending that I need to get done so I can get credit for them. And I also have some things that are coming up, and that's this assignment here that we're going to be digging into this week. So I want to make sure that I, do all my late work, because you know that Mrs. P is taking all that late work. So get it in, get it in, get it in. So I know what you know, and then I can reteach if I need to, or we can move forward. So I would go ahead and submit my assignment. So I'm going to submit maybe a late assignment. I'm like, oh, I better get this in. Okay, so I just click on that, remember, and then it will take a minute to load. Once the questions come up, then I'm just going to highlight them. Like here's the assignment. I just highlight it. And then I'm just going to Control and C on my keyboard. That's going to copy that for me. Remember, I do have a video on my website that helps you with this too. But here's the easiest way. There's 3 different ways, and so I do go over them. But here's the simplest way. I'm going to click Submit Assignment. I've Control-C'd that. And then once it loads, I'm going to click this button right here, Create. Boom. Once I create, you see I get this document. All I do is put my cursor in there, Control-V, and voila. Now I can do my assignment, and I'll just follow the directions very clearly. I can see that they're there, and I can do them to the best of my ability. If I can't get finished, remember I can click Save the Draft. It will come back later. I'll just click Resume the Draft. Or if I am finished, I click Submit. Some of you, I think, are forgetting to do that because I have to email you, and then you email me back and say, I thought I did it, but you have to click that Submit button. Submit means to turn it in, basically. It's like putting it in the turn it in basket at school. So once I've done that, then I'm finished. What I want you to be able to do is go back and look at your assignments. Remember, you're not getting them handed back to you like we would in class. So what does, how do I know how I did or what I missed or what do I need to think about next time that I'm doing an assignment? Am I forgetting complete sentences? Don't have enough evidence? So how I look at my assignments in Schoology is I have to go into what I've submitted. We'll let it load here a second. Okay, so here's my assignment, okay, analysis questions, and I submitted that. But I want to see how I did on it, and I want to know what grade I got. I mean, I can look in PowerSchool, it'll be there, okay? But I want to be able to actually look and see if there's any comments. Up here is my grade. This is any information about that grade that I need. But if I want to actually see what happened, I have to click on my submission. And then if the teacher had any comments for me, they'd be over here. It says, nice job, super. That means, yay, I did all right. Okay. And then over here, you can see these little yellow stickies. These are notes that the teacher is leaving for you. Great examples here. And then it says, if I scroll down, okay, you want to, well, that's all I had, I guess, for this one. But you want to look for these yellow stickies. And then over here on this side will be all the comments that I've left for you. If you lost points, it would say incomplete sentence or fragment -2 or whatever. So that's how you just look there, because that's how you know what you need to keep doing that you're doing well, most importantly. And then if there's any corrections you need or anything you need to think about a little differently. For the next assignment, you would know that there. Overall comments, like I said, will be over here. And then I showed you how to get your grade. Okay. So that's how you look at assignments in Schoology. And that's how you know how you're doing. If it's submitted or didn't submit, you're going to want to make sure you have a chance to resubmit that so the teacher can grade it. All right. Okay, so let's see if I know what's up. So I have this turned in. This is what's coming up. So I would click on that to do my assignment. That's the first assignment this week. And we'll look at the module sheet here because I know there's more coming, but that would be the first one, those analysis questions. I would look at my module sheet and walk through that just like you do every week. Now this is the fourth module sheet you've been provided. It's really our fifth week. The first module sheet, remember, covered that half of the week and then the following week. So this is the fourth module sheet you've been given. So I think you really understand how to use this now. You just walk through it, you click what you need. Here's the path. These are the due dates. This is where you're doing your assignments, Google Docs, Schoology. This week is Schoology. The blue means you need to do that. So watch that video lesson today. Watch the video lesson on Wednesday. And that will help you understand the materials. Just like being in class, you get a chance to hear it explained, and hopefully will provide more instruction for you that you might be needing or wanting. Also, sometimes in those videos, there's little pieces of information that help you with extra credit. So that's always a good thing as well if you choose to you want to do that. All right, so this is this week's module sheet. I always give you the background of what we'll be doing. Here's your objective, my objectives as a teacher that I'm hoping that you will reach. So this is what you'll be learning. Here's the paths or the steps to get to your goal. And then, of course, there's your due dates and weekly schedule. And here's your online textbook if you need to get into that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this week looking at an argument. Like what is an argument and what does it consist of? When we talk about a claim, when we talk about reasons, when we talk about evidence, what is that and what do each of them, what is the role of each of those in an argument? So we're going to go ahead and unpack that a little bit. I'm going to turn off the video camera so I can open up the screen. And let's take a look here. So like I said, the title is Survival Selfish? And when we're, you can tell a lot by a title, right? You can tell what it's going to be about. You can often tell maybe, the theme that the author might be delivering. Sometimes it sets the tone of the piece. But this particular piece is an argument about survival, obviously. And what does that mean? Is it selfish? Meaning, is it consuming? Is it wrong to think of ourselves before we think of others when it comes to the time of, crisis or just survival? So this is a tutorial that you can actually do on your own in the online textbook, but I'm just going to walk you through it since you won't be able to be in class with me. I think most of you are familiar with an argument. You've been working on argumentative writing, some of you since elementary school, but we want to now develop that more in depth. Okay, so you have a really strong, you have the training wheels on it that you've been using all this time, and now we're ready to start taking those training wheels off and hopefully having the skills then to soar and write a little bit on your own. So an argument is just any writing actually that expresses someone's position and where they stand on a particular topic or an issue or a problem. They make a claim. That claim is their overall arching, their principle and what they believe. It's the premise of what they are going to hopefully prove with sound evidence. In order to convince their audience that they are correct and accurate, that claim has to actually be supported with reasons and evidence. It has to be solid evidence. It has to be evidence that is, backed up with truth and fact. And if you remember what we learned a lot about earlier in the year in the first semester, we talk about that logos piece. What is the logic, the sound evidence behind it? And that makes it reliable. When I'm looking at reading an argument or I'm looking at writing an argument, I also really want to include some of that pathos, right? That's that emotional piece that is going to really create and stir some emotion in my reader. Or if I'm reading an argument, the pathos is going to be the emotions that are starting to come, to my mind, to what I'm feeling as I read it. It's that appeal that the author has done well by helping me connect to it, stirring either positive, sometimes negative feelings. We have to look at logical and emotional. Remember, they're different. They're both important in an argument. They're both essential, actually. But logical is that that logos appeal. The emotional is going to be more of the pathos appeal. So if I read these down here, a sickening number of stray dogs are put to death in animal pounds every year or each year. That is probably going to really instill in me some sense of emotion. Look at the word choice they use: sickening, stray, death. That word choice is critical. We talked about that when we talked about tone last week. Stray dogs do not have owners to make sure they are fed and groomed. So that could be pretty logical. They don't have them. That's just a fact. We have better things to do than worry about stray dogs. Emotional. Now, depending on how they fall in the argument, you can, back them up differently. But for the most part, emotion is based upon opinion. Think about it that way. And logic is based upon fact and be factual. So that's what I want you thinking about when you read this argument this week. We have what's called logical fallacies in an argument sometimes. And a fallacy is the cracks in the argument. It's where they start to fall apart. Either they have circular reasoning, so they don't make sense, they just spin in circles. They're false. They don't have a true cause and effect. They're hasty. That means they're quick. They're like boom. They don't support anything. It just goes, rushes to their ultimate ending. It's that either or, the fallacy means either this or that. You need to back it up with facts. Just don't say either we need this or we need that. Talk about why one is better than the other. And then name calling, which we do hear a lot, I guess, around the political season. But you won't hear much of that in the argument that we're going to be reading. A counter argument is just the opposite side. It's the opposite viewpoint of the argument that's been stated, that claim. It's knowing and understanding that the other side of the issue may have a valid point, and it's your job to really figure out what that is going to be. You want to preempt your audience thinking. So that means, I know you're thinking this, and I know you might think you have a good point, so you're going to get right to it so that you are going to cut down their questions with facts that are going to address that in that counter argument. So as a summary, the argument is the claim. It has to be supported by reasons and then evidence. That evidence has to be, several examples that are going to support this reason. So if I look at this you're going to read this week, what you'll read is, I'm going to bring this up for you. Your reading is survival selfish. So you're going to be looking at this particular argument. The claim What are the reasons that the author provides? And then those reasons have to be supported by evidence. Right? They have to have facts, statistics, experiences, statements from those experts. When we talked about the ethos earlier in the years, how are we supporting that? I have a valid support for my argument. So you want to include all of that. And then you can evaluate that evidence by looking here and using this little checklist. So this is to help you do your assignment this week. And I did include that in your email. And it will help you as you answer some of the questions. Right? Okay. Perfect. So that is all for this week's lesson to start off with for getting you started on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we're going to go ahead and look again at this particular piece. I'm going to dig into, is survival selfish? I'm going to be digging right into the piece. We'll go through it lines at a time, just like we did when we were working with Knight a couple weeks ago and last week. So tune in on Wednesday and we will look at this more in depth. But hopefully today you have enough to get you started for your weekly module. If you have questions, please come in and join me in the online office hours that I offer. You know that those are Tuesday through Friday. You can come in to all of them, one of them, and they're offered 3 times a day. So check the module sheet, check my website. Everything is there that you need, I promise. Okay. If you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.